All right, the final exam will consist of well, I got you guys quiet real quick. You're going to have to know the different types of bandsaws. You're going to have to know how to convert a decimal to a fraction. You're going to have to know some of the parts of the milling machine and the features of the milling machine. You're going to have to know how we put parts in the milling machine accurately so that we can make everything square, parallel, perpendicular, and all that kind of good things. You're going to have to know some of the name of the tools that we use on the milling machine. All stuff that we did go over. If you took a video, I can assure you it is in that video. And if you did take a video, and if you didn't, well, that's too bad. You should have taken a video. Okay? So don't, when we're out in the shop, say, what is this? And I'm sure that's what somebody's going to do here. I'm going to say, well, you know what? Ask him or ask him, because he might not know, or he may know, so that you can learn from each other. Okay? Seriously. If you don't know, and a couple people don't know, then maybe I'll pick your brain and make you answer the question. Challenge you a little bit, okay? All right? The difference between why we use an end mill versus the side of the end mill, the difference between cline cutting, conventional cutting, the different kinds of cutters, 2-flute, 4-flute, shell cutters, the arbors that are R8, the shell cutters, a counter bore. You're going to have to know how to do some speeds and feeds of the milling machine. Speeds and feeds of the turning. You're going to have to know, if I were to say to you, let's put a 1/4-28 tap in this hole, how to find the correct hole size from the machinist's handbook. Can you guys do that? Good, because it could be on a test. Well, you're going to have to know what a Morris taper is. You're going to have to know the difference between a standard leg drill bit and a jobber's drill bit. Screw machine, jobbers, aircraft. If there was a picture of a milling machine there, could you identify the parts? If there was a picture of a lathe there, could you identify the parts? You're going to have to know a little bit about drill bits, meaning do you split a point, what angles are the drill bits, why we use a shell mill versus a regular mill, why we would use carbide versus high-speed steel end mill. You're going to have to know a little bit about some of the formulas that we taught you guys in here on speeds and feeds, what some of this stuff means. It's all in Blackboard. If I were to say to you, remember we talked about dovetails? Dovetail cutter? Who doesn't remember what a dovetail cutter or dovetail is? Out in class, the lathes and the mills, they all have dovetails on them. When we're out in the shop, I'll show you what a dovetail is. If I were to say to you, we're going to cut a dovetail in this, would you know what the cutter looks like? No. Okay, well, I'll show you guys in the shop. I don't have one here. But on the mill, if you look at the mill, it's got a V. It's done with a dovetail type cutter. Why do we have different colors on the different end mills? If there's a gold color, why? If it's silver, why? Why do we tap a part down on a milling machine? There are a total of 4 speeds and feed problems, 2 turning and 2 milling. The difference between reaming and boring. Why would you ream a hole versus boring a hole, and vice versa? The difference between, let's say, a standard thread and an Acme thread. Why do we split the point on a drill bit? You're going to have to know a little bit about some steel. If I were to say to you, this is 1018 steel, can you identify what's the 10, what's the 18 mean, and all that kind of stuff? Some of the tools that we use in the shop, you're going to have to know what they are. On the milling machine, when you shift the low to high and high to low, what do you need to do? And why? That's pretty much it.